Hey guys, what's up? It's Professor Demario, and today I'm bringing you a different type of video that I usually don't make. If you see in my channel description, it says that I will make commentary videos in between of my gaming videos, and that's actually kind of what this is. I'm going to be talking about a topic that, you hear a lot lately, and it's the sentence, video games aren't fun anymore. Now, I think there's actually a lot of common reasons why, a lot of us don't find video games fun anymore, but I think that everybody also has personal reasons, you may grow out of it, but there's a lot of things that can trigger that sentence, and I'm actually here to talk about them today. So, I got some Modern Warfare gameplay to fit the fact that this game is actually now 2 years old as of the day that I'm making this, and it's actually a banger of a game, I went off and got a dub, so, this will be playing in the background for you, but let's get to it. So, why aren't video games fun anymore? Now, I feel like that isn't the right word to use, because I actually do think that video games can be fun at some point, but the right word that we should be using, personally, I think the word is satisfying, why aren't video games satisfying anymore? I feel like, there's quite a few reasons why we don't find satisfaction in video games these days. And I feel like one of the main reasons, that we'll start off with here is poor development or poor launch, you know what I mean? We have so many games that have just been so poorly put together, or, they release unfinished. If we look at Cyberpunk 2077, for example, this was one of the most hyped up games. So many people were actually really excited for it. And it was probably one of the biggest letdowns of all time, right? Like, the bugs, there were so many problems. It was just an unfinished game, and it was really disappointing. We have games like Call of Duty these days where they release half-assed games at launch, and they expect you to be, spoon-fed content, that should be in the game at launch over the course of, like, a year. Now, it's really sad because we already know that video games are all about the money. And obviously, everything is about the money, but it's never been so apparent to everybody that publishers are really just trying to milk their games for everything that they can get out of it. Like, we have Call of Duty releasing these stupid, wacky cosmetics that just don't even go with the timeline of their game, all because they want money. And, I guess that is understandable. But it's really annoying. And then, we could look at something like Grand Theft Auto 5, and my god, they are milking that game into the ground. They're actually kind of killing its reputation. Like, I understand that when that game released, we had it on the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and then a year later, they came to next-gen consoles, and that was perfectly understandable, because by the time the game had released, new-gen consoles were already out. So that was understandable. But to release the same game again and to try and market it as, upgraded graphics and features, we've seen the trailers. They're completely dislike bombed. Nobody's buying it this time. Like, nobody is buying into this stupid shit. And it's quite frankly insane that Rockstar is going this route, They don't even give a shit about Red Dead 2. Like, they barely update that, and there's so much potential there. And I would actually buy the game if they would put more effort into it. And I feel like we're at the point where people are just so sick of Grand Theft Auto 5 being continuously milked, like, we're all at the point where we just want Grand Theft Auto 6. But the longer that this goes on, the more distant the possibility of getting that game actually seems. And to run back to the other point, games are really just rushed these days, and they're not as good. Because we could look at something like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, and that Call of Duty game itself was very revolutionary for the franchise itself. We had a new movement, a new mechanic system, we had a new engine, and they really kind of took things to the next step, and they made the game feel renewed, more clean. And everybody loved that, but Cold War was such a downgrade. It was made on a really bad engine. The graphics sucked. Bugs were horrible. The content sucked. And it was like, you don't release a game that's made in 6 months. They could have actually done a year or two of Modern Warfare, and everybody would have been fine with it, because that's how well it was doing. But now they're piggyback riding on the success of Modern Warfare with Vanguard, because they have completely copy and pasted Modern Warfare into Vanguard, thinking that if we just take that game and make it again, but with World War II in it, everybody will love it. That's the mindset they have. It's not, let's create an authentic game with character. That's not there. And unfortunately, that is actually the common thing with devs these days. There's no characteristic updates to their games. There's no passion, what it feels like. Now, I feel like my standards for video games, I feel like they're warped. I can't really tell if my standards are high or low. And I feel like in terms of this, I kind of blame Fortnite, actually, in its prime. Fortnite in its prime was super fun, and I will always hold it close to my heart because it was so fun to just play it and do things with a squad of friends. I'll never forget that. But I feel like Fortnite changed the game in terms of updating their games every week. There was always something new, and I feel like before Fortnite, we were okay with getting a video game and then getting a huge amount of content every few months for a game, a DLC. And now it's, if we don't get some sort of content every week, we think a game is bad. And I feel like we are using that standard from Fortnite. Fortnite has possibly ruined my standards. Now, also, I think it's fair to have the standard that your game should actually just be fucking good. I feel like we all have that. But in terms of what comes after the release, I feel like that is where my standard lies in terms of comparison. But yeah, I feel like games have really just been lacking the character and creativity to really carry people these days. And I think that is one of the main reasons why we don't find satisfaction. You could look at Minecraft, for example. Minecraft is a fantastic game. In fact, Minecraft has carried me through the start of me really getting into video games. I started with the Wii and Mario Kart Wii, but Minecraft is where I started my experience with Xbox, and I progressed from there. Minecraft carried me through, and Minecraft is a great game, and I'll always hold a place in my heart for that game. And it's great. The updates that they bring out for Minecraft are actually good. The only problem is that there are only 2 updates a year. One in the summer, and one around the holidays. And it's unfortunate because in between those periods, we start to feel like there's nothing to do because we've done everything that there is. But the truth is we could do whatever we want. But we have that standard that if a game isn't updated as much, it's not fun. Now, I have a few personal reasons for why I don't find video games to be that satisfying anymore, and I'm sure that there are going to be some people who have the same feeling as me. This might be common with other people. I'm sure of it. But when I look at video games, I'm starting to realize that they don't really carry me as much as I thought they would. And obviously, growing up as a kid, you think you're going to do it for a very long time. But when you reach a certain age, you kind of start to realize that there's other things to worry about. Because now that I'm not in high school, I have to think about what I'm going to apply to college for, what I'm going to do with my life. And you can't go to a job and say that you're qualified because you have 200 wins in Warzone. It doesn't carry you that far. But you do gain some skills from playing games. Your observation, your teamwork, you can get all of that through playing games. I do think there are benefits, but it doesn't carry you through your life. Now, the reason that I still play video games is because I use them as an escape from personal issues that I have. I'm not a very healthy person, and therefore I can't go out and do much. So the only thing that I have to distract myself is to play video games. But I'm so aware of that now, to the point where they're not enjoyable for me anymore, because I'd rather be getting out and gaining new experiences and learning some useful skills, but I can't. So I use this, but the awareness of that and what I'm doing has kind of pulled that down. Now, I also think that when it comes to playing games, I'm starting to lack that connection with other people, because if I were to look back 2 to 3 years ago, I would remember playing almost every night for countless hours with friends, just having fun playing games. And I think that's where the fun in video games lies. It's not satisfying at times, it's not fun. I don't think video games are that fun when you're playing by yourself unless it's like a story mode. But I'm starting to realize that video games are carried by the experience you have with other people that you know. Playing games with friends is what makes it fun, because it's something to do with other people. And that is something that I, myself, am personally lacking. At my age, people are moving on to their own things, they're growing up, they're finding what fits them, and they don't have much time for this. So obviously, me being set back, I'm still playing them, while other people may not be playing them as much. And they go their separate ways from other people that they used to play with. And I think in that case, this is where I'm kind of moving towards. I'm not really going my own way, but other people around me are. And therefore, I'm not really finding as many people to play with. That connection that I did have, I don't have anymore, and I don't find that much fun in playing games. Came to another realization not long ago, actually, because if you would notice, if you have watched me for a certain amount of time, you would have known that a year ago when I started making videos again, that I was actually pretty consistent. I would upload twice a week, but then it slowly went down to once a week, then once every other week, and then sure enough, I was reaching a month, and then every other month, and my uploads were getting slower. And I thought that it was because I didn't have the motivation or I didn't have the time. And while I'm not a very motivated person due to things going on in my life, I realized that the reason I don't make videos as much is because video games aren't satisfying. I feel like there's not much you can really make videos on these days, and that's why my uploads are lacking. The Minecraft video that I had uploaded back in July, it actually took me a really long time to get done. I planned it back in February, and it took us all the way until the end of June, beginning of July, to film all of it. And it was because I didn't know what really to make a video on. I wanted it to be different from what others did. And the original idea was playing Minecraft, but you can't mine or craft. And that idea sounds good on paper for a video, but it's not a good idea once it's actually executed. So we moved on to fighting the Ender Dragon with no gear. But yeah, these are my reasons for why video games aren't as satisfying or fun for me anymore. And I hope that other people find ways to satisfy themselves or have fun with friends. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.